Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer was fired up, you might say, in the White House driveway after that Big Four meeting wrapped up earlier today. Listen.
The urgency of supporting Ukraine and the consequences to the people of America, to America's strength, if we don't do anything and don't do anything soon. I was so shaken by what I saw at the border. I was strengthened by the strength of Zelensky and the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian soldiers, but shaken that here they are fighting without arms against a brutal dictator who will just do anything to kill them.
So Schumer's talking about his own trip to Ukraine. We have a business leader who's just back from there as well. He wanted to get a better understanding of the war, to help understand how his clients are dealing with the war. The company Exiger CEO Brandon Daniels is joining the program once again. So what was your personal takeaway after you spent some time there in Ukraine about whether or not we should keep supporting the Ukrainian effort?
Absolutely, Connell. Well, thank you for having me on. It's good to see you.
Yep.
I was actually there at the same time as Schumer. In fact, our two congressional delegations were talking and were working together. And so Schumer and Reid and a number of members of the Senate went to leave and met with Zelensky, and then a number of members of EU Parliament, of the UK House of Commons, and then also Don Davis and Jim Costa went with me to Kyiv and then to the surrounding areas. And what we saw was a country that was resolved to beat Putin. And the other thing that we heard loud and clear as we met with members of Parliament from the UK, EU, and other US ally countries was that this is a critical fight for Ukraine to win, not just because Ukraine is an ally, but because Putin is an adversary, right? We heard directly from the sort of global community that this is a challenge to Western ideals, to the global free market that the United States establishes. You know, you've heard a lot about sort of the currency war and the growth of the global South, sort of creating alternative currencies to the dollar. Well, this challenge that Russia has launched against Ukraine is a proxy war against U.S.'s economic and diplomatic power throughout the world.
Here's the real question, Brandon, on that type of a proxy war, right? Is that if the U.S. is going to support it, if it's going to be in the interest of the politicians to do so, business leaders like you to do so, and commit funds to doing so, is it a winnable war? What did you take away? What did you learn, if anything, about that when you were there? Can they win it?
So I met with members of parliament from the Ukraine, met with soldiers, generals from the Ukraine. I also met with our soldiers that are on the ground in Ukraine, training Ukrainian soldiers, fighting right alongside of Ukrainian soldiers. And I know that they can win. First of all, they have the hope, they have the will, and they have been working extremely efficiently with the artillery and ammunition that they've been given. Connell, for every piece of artillery that a brigade has today, Russia has 1,000x that amount, and they are still able to take major cities back from Russia. They're able to still make major gains. The offensive they had in 2023, they had no air cover, no air force whatsoever in those battles, and they caught Putin without the ability to defend his positions. And so I know that they can win because they have the hope, they have the tactical skill, they're being innovative in the battlefield, and most importantly, they are determined to fight for their country. Every place I went, you heard people reflect back to us, thank you to the United States for being a great partner, and two, glory to Ukraine across all of the Ukrainian people.
A lot of people thought it'd be over in a few days 2 years ago. Obviously, we're still talking about it now, but they're going to need the funding if they want to continue, which is what they were talking about at the White House today, among other things. Thank you, Brandon, for sharing your experience with us. Brandon Daniels from the company Exiger, just back from Ukraine. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.